Unsyndicated presents What the Puck with Sean Belegian.
Glad you can join us for a special edition of What the Puck. This is part one tonight. Mike Ivisel, Sean Belegian. Glad you can join us. So what are we doing tonight before the Eastern Conference Final starts? Mike and I, we're going to call this a labor of love in conjunction with our friends from the Michigan High School Coaches Association, the Hockey Coaches Association. We're going to be talking about MHSA hockey. It's something near and dear to both of our hearts, something that we love doing. As a matter of fact, Mike and I, true story, we're talking about this just a few days ago. Mike, I miss going out to Brighton on a random Tuesday night, going out to USA Hockey Arena on a Wednesday night, Eddie Edgar, for example, on Thursday, Novi Ice Arena on a Friday night. We're going to be talking about high school hockey during the spring and summertime, and I'm fired up for that.
And it's only been, two and a half months that the season's been done, and we're already pining for more. We're waiting for that TPH and MDHL schedule to come out. We're waiting for the schedules to start coming to play so we can see where we're going to be on a dreary, cold November Tuesday evening, be it Livonia, be it Heartland or Brighton. And I know I can't wait. I can't wait to get these shows going, because as we talk about what we like to spread the word to all the people is that pathway of high school hockey. And not only that pathway, but what is the future of that pathway? So getting the Coaches Association in here with us to talk about what the pathway is, and then getting some ex-players on here to show where that pathway is taking them.
I love the term that is being thrown out there, proven path. And I know that the Coaches Association are working so hard to improve this product. It has come leaps and bounds just in the last 10 years. Our friends from College Hockey Inc. have been providing people with so much information, but that's what we want to do for you, is not only word of mouth from guys like Mike and I who love this product, but as Mike mentioned, talking to some of the guys that have really started at this level and have been able to move on. I don't want to keep our guest waiting. He is waiting in the wings right now. Let's bring him in. He's one of those guys. Not too long ago in the rearview mirror, he was starring up for the Calumet Copper Kings up there in a beautiful part of the state in Calumet, Michigan. And now he is a big part of the success of Coach Naurato and the Michigan Wolverines. Let's welcome him in. Tanner Rowe from the Michigan Wolverines and formerly from the Calumet Copper Kings. And first of all, Tanner, I can't thank you enough for your time tonight. How are you? Thanks so much for joining us.
I'm great. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Hey, Tanner.
Happy to be here.
It doesn't seem like that long ago that we were watching you, and I'm not trying to make you blush, one of the best players in the state, and certainly the Copper Kings have such a great tradition as well. Time flies when you're having fun, so I'll ask you, does that seem like a long time ago or just a little bit ago?
Actually, it just feels like it was just yesterday. I talk to my parents and my friends about it all the time. It just, like you said, time flies when you're having fun, and playing high school hockey with all your buddies you got to play with growing up and being in your hometown is really just so fun, and just being at the rink with all your buddies. And like I said, it's just time flies when you're having fun. That's for sure.
All right, Tanner, let's get right to it. I know you're from the UP. It's a different animal up there. There's not a AAA program right there, but we've seen a lot of kids come down, bill it, and play AAA hockey. I don't know if there was a AAA pull for you when you were younger, but overall, what drew you to Calumet High School and that high school hockey program?
Yeah, no, I think we just had a good group of guys up there. I feel like when I was there in high school, and we were pretty solid with our group of guys there, and kind of growing up, we all kind of stuck together, I feel. And I did have the opportunity to come down here and play for the Oakland Junior Grizzlies. It would have been after my freshman year. I got asked to come down here and play, and I was just kind of hemming and hawing, and being 15 years old and moving 10 hours away from home was a tough decision. And I came down here and skated with the team and like met the coach and stuff. But I just felt like playing high school hockey was the right choice for me, and just staying home that extra year and or extra 2 years, obviously now that I got to play there for 3 years, and it was just I thought it was just the right fit for me.
Tanner, it's interesting. Guys like us can talk until we're blue in the face about how much this product has grown. Forget about 30 years from now, just in the last 10 years. But for a guy like you who played at this level and has been able to move on that proven path that we talked about, how has it been from your vantage point? Taking a look not only at some of the great teams up in your neck of the woods, Marquette obviously always has a good team. Your rivalries with Houghton and Hancock, etc., but some of the schools around this state. How does it look from your vantage point, the state of high school hockey here in Michigan?
No, yeah, it is high school hockey. I feel like it's growing, and I'm happy it's you get to see that because um, I got to play it. Obviously, I was fortunate to play it, and I think just like being able to play like and have fun and just keep the game fun and play without, like I said, like all your friends and family. And it obviously, like, it helped to stay in Calumet too. I felt just for my development, I got to play a lot, and that obviously confidence is a big thing when you get to play a lot on the ice and power play, penalty kill, and stuff. So I feel like those like just the main like choices of choosing to stay at high school and getting to play a lot and just having fun is the main reasons.
Well, I know as fans of high school hockey, we're glad you played high school hockey. High school hockey was better for players such as yourself playing 114 points in 76 games. My son just graduated. He's looking to move on as you did. I've been doing a lot of talking with parents that have moved on. When you made that move from Calumet to junior hockey, did you have help making in that move, an advocate or someone that guided you on your way from high school hockey to juniors?
Yeah, Jason Deskins, he was a really big help for me. Just he helped me get to Maryland, and there's a connection there. So I got to tender it was my junior year. I tendered to Maryland, and just the jump from high school hockey to junior A hockey is definitely like a whole nother level. Like, you just got to kind of work your way up again in the lineup. You're kind of like the freshman as a high schooler. Basically, you're starting all over again, and but I feel like the high school hockey, like, it still is obviously a good route. You just gotta be ready for when you make the next jump, and just take everything for don't take everything for granted, because it's obviously hard, but um, if you put in the work, you'll do it.
Tanner Rowe kindly joining us. Another successful product from the high school ranks here in the great state of Michigan. Tanner, I got to talk about your community. It is such a fun community. You were gone, but Mike and I had a chance to go up there a couple of years ago with state champs. I absolutely love the community. I've said it 100 times. I think that area of the state is my favorite area of the state. I don't have any problem saying that. And the Coliseum. Yeah, there's some barns that you walk into. It looks different. It smells different. It just screams history. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, no, the Coliseum, like, it's just such a fun rink to play in, and the history that, like you said, is really, like, it's one of the oldest rinks in North America, and being able to play in that rink every, like, Friday night home game was awesome, and having family and friends in there to watch you and support you was always a great time.
All right, now Tanner, you made that jump from high school hockey to junior hockey, and I want to focus on these kids that are going to be graduating this year or maybe graduating next year. What advice could you give them? Like, what big change are they going to have to make in their game or in their preparation for a game to be ready to play major junior hockey, such as yourself?
Yeah, no, I just think just have a good, like, obviously you gotta have a good summer and work out and have your training routine and whatever you're planning on doing. But I just think, like, when you get your chance and for juniors, you just gotta kind of take it and run with it. And because you never know, sometimes you might not get that next shift. And junior hockey, obviously you can be scratched. So you just gotta kind of just take everything with a grain of salt and just have fun, and don't be too hard on yourself, because I know it can be hard, like I said, but just try and have fun with it and stay calm, and it'll work out.
Tanner, tell us about your decision to go to Michigan. I mean, Michigan sells itself. We had a chance to talk to Red Berenson a few weeks ago. I mean, one of the classiest human beings ever, and obviously a big part of Michigan's long-term success. But walk us through that process that found you ending up in Ann Arbor playing for the venerable Michigan Wolverine hockey program.
Yeah, no, Michigan it was always my dream school, just like talking like and to like my friends and family, like if they're like, oh, like where would you go to for college? And um I just Michigan was always the one. Like it's just a very historic and elite school to go to. So that was obviously like the big part of my decision, was just being able to say you got to you're getting to play at Michigan and put on that jersey every day for practice and for the games and stuff. And um also it's in my home state. Yeah, it's a little far away from my home, but it's still in my home state. So it's pretty cool. I get to play college hockey in the same state. So there was a lot of factors going into it, and I have some family down here in Brighton. That obviously is a huge factor, that they can come and support me, and I get to see them a lot. So it was just an all around, like, just a good fit for me.
I love it. I love hearing you say it's your dream school. It's somewhere you always went to. So that makes this question even more special. You're playing Stonehill at home, the home crowd, and you get your first NCAA goal. Take us through that goal and what that was like.
Yeah, no, Keenan Draper, he won it back on the face off, and I just happened to just get it and just rip it as hard as I could, obviously, because that's what you're always taught to, just shoot it like you're shooting through the back of the net. And it went in, and my parents and family and stuff are all there, so it was just a really surreal moment to have them there and score at home at Yost, because children of Yost they're awesome, and they come out and support us all the time at home. And it was a great time.
One more thing before we let you go, and we can't thank you enough, Tanner. I think I can speak for everybody around here, and I'm sure you know how they feel about you in Calumet. We're all very proud of you. You're a classy kid from a classy program. We're very proud of you. But what would you say to the young players out there who are thinking about making the jump to their local high school team or playing for their local high school team? You're a guy, the proven path speaks for you. What would you tell a young player who was in your position just a few short years ago?
Yeah, no, like I said, like AAA, like, yeah, everyone like down here, like I know, like play it a lot. And I don't think high school, you shouldn't just like say, oh, like the high school, like the kids, like they're uh you shouldn't go play that. But I think that if you're making the decision to play high school hockey, like you're not making a bad decision. And like I said, like you get so many memories with your friends that you grow up with and play at your home high school. And just the memories, I feel like there's just so many memories you get to have with all your teammates. And um it's good hockey too, like I said, like it's good competition. So like I said, I can't say anything bad about it. It was a great time for me.
Hey, continued success to you. Like I said, we're all proud of you. We
Thank
feel like,
you.
you're one of us, and you made it for all of us. You know what I mean? As cheesy as that
Thank
sounds,
you.
we're always going to be pulling for you, man. Thank you so much for your time, and best of luck to you as your career continues on the upward trajectory.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you again, and hope all is well with you guys.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Tanner Rowe kindly joining us. Classy kid, no doubt about that. And
Absolutely.
it's so funny, Mike, because as you mentioned, your son played for Catholic Central. It goes by so fast, and yet when you see their faces and you talk to them, you're like, wasn't that long ago? You know what I mean? You're having chats with these guys and everything like that. But the good news is, every year, and this is what I think the Coaches Association have done a tremendous job of letting people know, those lists keep getting larger and
Yes.
larger of the guys moving on, whether it be to the NA, whether it be to the A3, whether it be to D3. It doesn't matter. Guys keep moving on from this level.
And what a day to start this program, other than the day that Brooks Rogowski signs with the Oshawa Generals.
Isn't that
That
fantastic?
is a story that just keeps growing and growing and growing. And seeing him sign that today is just another notch in this belt on the path that we want to take with high school hockey.
Well, another classy guy joining us. He has done so much for the game at so many different levels. I'll tell you what, he was even an assistant for 1 year under our mutual friend Dave Mitchell.
All right.
I think he deserves a medal for that.
Poor guy.
let's give him a medal for dealing with Mitch on a day-to-day basis. Dave, we love you, but doing a heck of a job not only on the board with the Michigan High School Coaches Association, but heck of a job up with Cap City as well. He is the head coach at Cap City. Joe Ford kindly joining us. And Joe, really appreciate you taking the time. I know how busy you are. Thanks for joining us here. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm sorry that I'm not in a home or office setting at my daughter's track meet right now. She's wrapping up her CWC league meet here. So spring's a busy time for everybody. So can't thank you enough for having me on, though. I appreciate it. Sorry for the rougher settings than I normally would like.
Joe, you know what? I mean, listen, here's the dirty little secret. You're helping us. We're really missing this product right now. You know, thank goodness the Eastern Conference Finals are coming on and there's still some hockey, but there's something about this game. There's something about going to the local arena. I think you could probably explain it better than most, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, it's how about Tanner Rowe, eh? Like, that's what an awesome interview. And we're fortunate. We're now in that loop, in that rotation to go to Calumet and Houghton and Hancock now. We went up last year for the first time in our program's history. And I equated it, you're talking to your fundraising board about the costs and everything. And, we'd go to the Sioux and that was great, but it's double to go over there. And I go, look, you don't understand. This is like Duke inviting, a mid-major to go down. You just go. You make it work. And that experience, we didn't win. We unfortunately got beat by Houghton, let in some goals early and couldn't recover. And then we were 2-2 with Hancock and they scored with about, I think, 7 minutes left to go. So we came out 0-2, but we came out better. And I'm really looking forward to next year. We play Calumet now in the rotation with Coach G, who does an amazing job up there. And then we Hancock again, who, as heavy as they were, they only graduated like 3 seniors. So it's going to be a heck of a test for us. But it's really grown. I mean, I started coaching high school hockey. My first official day of high school hockey was actually in I want to say it was like in June of the year 2000. John Cooper, who you guys know, who was a friend of mine here in the Lansing area, brought me into the AD's office at Lansing Catholic High School and said, "This is going to be your new high school hockey coach." And the gentleman was like, "Oh, okay." He was moving on to go coach the Capital Center Pride North American League. And then obviously his career went on a trajectory from there that we're all very familiar with. I was only the head coach in Lansing Catholic for about 2 months. Got called back to go work at Michigan State to be the director of hockey operations for them. I was there in a student role, kind of under video coaching and hockey ops. And the gentleman that left, Dan Singleton, is actually he's still the longest tenured video coach in the National Hockey League now for Columbus. But long story, but I got back into it in 03 and 04 to coach Hazlitt Williamston. And so it spanned about, I guess, what is that now, 20 years. Did take a year or two off there to help out with, when I was starting a business and the kids were young. But it has grown so much and in the right ways. We still have a lot of work to do, though, as you guys know. We still have a ton of work to do in terms of just selling the product, selling the game, and really, to me, there's two facets of it. Like we all want the higher end players that are going to make our programs better because the level of play. I think we're all in agreement on that. And we're getting those proven paths out there now in terms of what it looks like. I mean, look at the list out there now. I think there's 22 kids out there now playing Division I, from Carter Corprew at Union to Joey at Michigan State, to obviously Tanner down the road. So many other great stories beforehand. We're getting that story out more now. But more importantly too, because you can always get really focused, I think, on the higher level players. I think more importantly too, just the overall baseline's risen, and that's what's important. There's still challenges, there's still work to do, but the overall kind of the benchmark of what good looks like I bet you if you went to the Trent Showcase, 10 years ago and watched all the teams play compared to when you're going to go watch them here this February, the difference, there's going to be a higher level, right? So, we're trying to build it, grow it, and it's an awesome environment to be in. It's an exciting time to be in high school hockey.
So I'm not lying here. I think you hit on every question that I already had. So what you just did was answered everything that I had. But I'm going to stick with my routine here. We've got things like the MDHL in the off season and TPH and places where players can go and get better. And then obviously Team Michigan and the things that they do and the steps that they've made towards playing well when they go to Minnesota. What do you think is the next big step for Michigan high school hockey to take to be able to get our players moving like the Minnesota players do into the next level?
Well, that's a tough question. Wow. It's hard to put I think it's hard to put it on one answer. I think it's a collective movement by the coaches to continue to, I don't know if sell the product, market the product, and I hate calling it a product. Again, at the end of the day, this is high school athletics. I sit with Cody Inglis the other night at a track meet, and it's easy to get, again, really wrapped up in trying to make comparisons to our game to junior hockey or college hockey. At the end of the day, like Tanner talked about, it's really about that experience. Like, what is the experience of the players with their friends, in their family, and even if you're in a co-op like we are, or whether you're a single school, you're still more often not playing in front of a great student section every night. Kids recognize you in the building, and you're on that same par and caliber as the basketball players and the football players and the soccer players in terms of that representation. And putting that logo, even if maybe it isn't your school or a co-op, on the front, you're playing for something. You're not playing for, and I'm not trying to knock it because the AAA pathway is a great pathway, don't get me wrong, but you're not playing for a corporate logo. You're playing for something intrinsically more than yourself. And I think that's a really important aspect. And the other part of it, when you get down to the actual tangible hockey aspect of it, is truly is the development model. I mean, I look at our program, and I think, I speak for us, but there's others that follow the same model. I mean, we're skating 11 months out of the year now. I mean, this morning we had 22 guys at a skate at 6 a.m. We fully take advantage of the 4-player rule, where you can work with 4 players at a time on one half of the ice per MHSA rule. We've only got a few more weeks left. We go back to full toward the first Monday after Memorial Day, and we go right up to when football starts. We go back into our skill development sessions for 4 players at a time. We have guest coach come in. Tom Newton from Michigan State runs it. I mean, they're literally from the dead period around July 1st to about July 21st. We don't have ice or conditioning programs. Other than that, we're basically running an 11-month hockey program now. And I think that's the norm across most of the programs that are trying to evolve and develop across the state of Michigan. We're not atypical because we're all trying to make it better. And the knock on, well, you only play 30 games and it's a short season. Look, like we had guys last year that played 55, 60 games, that played MDHL, that went to Blaine, then played in the fall league at Brighton. I mean, the whole calendar is laid right out. It is a very detailed, definitive calendar, and we're no different than what Ricky's doing at Heartland or what Kurt's doing at Brighton. Like, we're trying to, those are the models that we're following. So it really turns into for better or for worse sometimes too, don't get me wrong, it turns into a year-long commitment. But that's how you make it successful. And that's what these kids are used to, because they are, when they're 6 years old on, unfortunately, or the way it goes, they are in the rink I'm adjusting my laptop here. They are in the rink. They start mid-August, they go to March, then there's spring hockey. They're really only getting June and July off. And so because of that paradigm that's in place, that's what they've come to expect. And so from a developmental standpoint, when I was coaching back in the mid-2000s, it was like, okay, we'd have a couple skates, whatever. But then like October 25th is when you started to really get going. And, October 25th, we go play a hockey game. We're ready to go. And so it's one of those situations where we're making it better collectively from an overall calendar standpoint and giving these players these options and showing them, hey, look, this is the pathway. We've got 2 guys going to the Aberdeen camp in Livonia next weekend. We had several guys at all the Maha festivals over the course of the spring. and so and again, we're not alone. I mean, many programs are following this model too. So it's what you have to do, and we got to keep chasing it from that regard.
Joe Ford kindly joining us, doing a heck of a job, not only with Cap City, but certainly with the Coaches Association here in the great state of Michigan. Joe, I want to go back to something that you said, because sometimes it's cliche, but I think it is something that bears repeating. The fact that so many coaches are now rowing in the same direction. I mean, it really does seem like there's a concerted effort to take it in one direction. And there are other entities out there, whether it be Sean and College Hockey Inc. I mean, people that are looking at this product, there's that word again, high school hockey, and saying, this is something special. And boy, we've noticed what it's become. And most importantly, what it can be even yet.
Right. And I think too, obviously the whole situation starts with the rinks. The rinks in our state, unfortunately, most of them are privately owned, with the exception of somewhere where like Tanner grew up, where it was municipal, and they've got things a little bit different up there. But that's not the exception of the norm. It starts at the grassroots level in terms of that. We're really fortunate, again, in our area. We, through our youth camps that we run in the summer, where we have kids that are incoming grades 5 through grade 8, that's built a culture for us. And I think other programs are following the same model. I know Brighton does the same thing. So you start to take some of the decisions out of the equation. They're like, our goal in life is to put that crest on our jersey, not to go play somewhere else. And I think that, I think that's, if, the earlier you start that education, the better. And the more you get people in the building with the electric atmosphere and the energy of a high school hockey game. I mean, we video scout everybody we play. I really would have to go back through my log and try to remember what game I watched, whether it was Forest Hill Central with Bill McSween and their group, or whether it was a Grand Rapids Catholic Central game, or it was a game in Alpena, or whether it was a game up in the UP, or a game in Detroit, that you were looking at an empty building.
Yeah.
As you're scouting the game on Live Barn and you're taking your notes, you can sense the crowd noise and the audio and the atmosphere. Pretty rare. I mean, for the most part, you're actually looking at going, like, we're going up to Alpena to play. That rink is like, there's 1,000 people there. The fire marshal's turning people away. And you're like, oh man, I hope our guys don't get freaked out by this, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's what you want. Yeah. Last year at Christmas, they came out, they have the spotlights out. The players are getting introduced out. Like, it's like, a junior hockey game or National Hockey League game. The figure skater comes out. She skates better than half our team. She sings the national anthem. I turned to my one assistant coach and I said something I won't say on air, but I said, I think we're in trouble here. So, I mean, the place was, the atmosphere and the energy was just incredible. And more often than not, that's what you see. And to get that experience. And the other thing too about that is, some of these guys, they need to learn how to play in front of crowds, because it changes the hockey game. It changes, if you get brushed, in a body check, at 8:30 on a Sunday morning somewhere, and there's 20 people in the stands, like, oh, whatever. You get hit in front of a student section, they go nuts, and you have to be able to mentally react to that, both positively and negatively as a player. So there's actually, from a developmental standpoint, playing in front of somebody is a big deal. If you're Michigan State and you're going into Yost to play where Tanner plays, if you're mentally prepared for that type of environment, or a Western Michigan where the Lawson Lunatics are, then you're going to struggle. I mean, there's obviously raucous junior environments between here and there in that pathway, but it changes, and that kind of mirrors more the college hockey model. I mean, from that standpoint, we try to tailor everything, as most teams do, where we practice every single day, and every day has a theme to it, and every day has just like we did in college when I was at Michigan State. You change your theme, obviously, but you're trying to prepare them for the next level, even if you don't intend on going to the next level. You're trying to prepare them, and that's, with that kind of we tend to practice all week and play on the weekend, kind of like they do in junior, kind of like they do in college. And along that comes the atmosphere and the energy, and you've worked all week. Now you get to showcase it. So,
sticking with the theme of crowds, every year me and Sean attend the Frozen Four down there at USA Arena. We get the opportunity to select the all tournament team. Mm-hmm. And every year we sit there and we're like, what an atmosphere, what a crowd. If we could get kids into this arena that are trying to choose between AAA and high school hockey, and they saw this crowd, be it the Heartland Brighton game, the CC Brighton game, how big is that weekend in your eyes to get those players' eyes on the game to see what high school hockey actually can be?
So I'm really glad you brought that up. So 2 years ago, so all my time in high school hockey, all my board work, all the things we've done, Team Michigan, I wouldn't go because I was mad. But I had to get over, to steal a line from Dave Mitchell, I had to get over myself. So I went. 2 years ago, I went, and I'm glad I did. Last year, I brought guys down with me. And in full disclosure, a couple of the guys were a couple of our higher end kids that potentially could have that option to maybe play for us for a year and then maybe move on to, other maybe options they think that could be a better fit. And I think bringing them to that helps solidify to go, yeah, we want to play here. We want to stay at high school hockey because of that atmosphere. We went to the semifinal game. And it was just between Brighton and Clarkston, and it was just nerve-wracking, right? I mean, it was the overtime game. It was crazy. What a great story. The player that scored the goal had been the JV team. It's just awesome stuff, right? And so, that atmosphere in and of itself is, I think, incredible to see. But I think what's tough about that is only so many teams can get there every year, right? And so I think what you do too there is you could take them to a quarterfinal game. Take him to a regional game. Take him to a rivalry night game. And that in and of itself sells it because the Final Four is great to go to. Our end goal is to get to it. I don't know if we ever will. I've been trying for years and years. And from that standpoint, it's still hard to get to. It's kind of very aspirational. Some teams have easier routes than others, et cetera. But the quarterfinal and the regionals even played itself out too. Trenton's great, but the atmosphere is, it's more of a neutral site. It's more some of those rivalry nights where you can't park. Just take a picture of the parking lot. You can't park in the parking lot at Trenton. You can't park in the parking lot at Eddie Edgar on a Churchill Stevenson night. And so those are the things that I think, play it out. But then too, we've always had the crowds. We've always had the interest. But it was like, oh, well, it's just high school. Well, now you can combine. I say you can have your cake and you can eat it too. You can stay close to home. You can play for something that matters in terms of the crest and the logo in front of your sweater every night. And you can move on. It's not like you have to forsake one to give up the other. You can still skate from August 1st to May. That every program now has those opportunities to do that. And you can still move on. I mean, if you look at the rosters now and the camps and everybody moving on, got the player tracker going for the hub this year again. There's some incredible stories of guys that are moving on. And don't get me wrong. Like, look, AAA is a great path. They do a great job. We're very good. We have a great relationship with the AAA program in our area, luckily. It's fine. We're not here to say, well, that's terrible. No, it's a good path, obviously. We just think ours is really darn good. And we're trying to educate on all the benefits of what you have to offer, kind of the full package. Like, have your cake and eat it too. There's bumps in the road. Maybe not every game is a great game, but guess what? AAA, you go out to Blaine. Not every game is a great game out there either. You know what I mean? So, I mean, every pathway is a little bit different, whatever the comfort level of the kid is. And to be clear too, it starts with the coaches, and the coaches have all done collectively, I think, a great job. I think I could say this publicly is we're hosting an in-person coaches association in October now, October 11th and 12th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Bring everybody together, get a bunch of guys and gals in the room and just talk through all the ideas. We've got some great presenters, trying to get some good speakers lined up. It'd just be good to get back to an in-person event that will continue to help grow our game because we've got some awesome coaches across the state. You're going to interview some of them I know on this, Sean and Mike, that will continue to showcase and tell some great stories because it does start there, right? Like if we don't have quality coaches, then we're not going to be able to develop these models.
One last thing before we let him go. And speaking of quality guys, Joe Ford, one thing, Mike, I don't know if you picked up on it. He hasn't even talked about his team. Here he's talked about all the other teams and all the great things going on in the state. But Cap City and hockey in general, I think in the Lansing area, certainly some epic playoff battles against East Side Stars the last couple of years. Have to give a tip of the cap to that. But, Coach Ford, talk about your team and talk about hockey in the Lansing area, a rich history up there and seems to only be getting better.
I mean, it's exciting. We have, we're hosting our camps next week, they're in June when school gets out, when you're able to practice. We've got both a grade 5 through 8 camp and a varsity camp. We've done it the last 2 years, collectively speaking, and a couple of seniors that are graduating skate. But we've had, I think, 72 and 75 kids each out at it between the 2 age brackets. That's exciting stuff. And as you know, from a player pool standpoint, it helps. Obviously, we've had a consolidation of programs, which is there's positives and negatives to that. I mean, obviously, you'd still wish, there was a time when I coached Lansing Catholic, we were our own school. I was in 2006, 07, 08. We were our own school. We competed very well with Flint Powers one year, lost to go on to the regional or to the regional final. Those days have changed. Dynamics in Lansing have changed a little bit. I will tell you that the work that Knights and Michigan State is doing, Adam Nightgill is doing, will help grow our numbers. The Red Wings having success will help grow our numbers at the grassroots age level. So hockey in Lansing in general, I think it hit some bumps. It did. From a number standpoint, you can't hide it. It hit some bumps. But as the consolidation has happened in terms of some of the programs, it has, give us more of a larger player pool. And so our team this year coming in, it's we're an interesting mix of seniors and juniors, and then a really interesting mix of sophomores coming through as well. I think some of our strengths will be in goal. We've got good goaltending coming in, which is exciting. Our D-core, we only graduated one player there, so we should be fine there. And up front, we've got a mixture of some youth, and we've got a mixture of some returning scoring, with some of with Will Tucker, Chase Potter, looking to some other guys, Nolan English, Andre Van Els, take some steps, and some exciting sophomores coming in, Nolan Reiber, Jax Wolf, to help contribute as well. Roman Barnes is a guy in the wing that's big, heavy, rugged, mean, hates everything, one of those good type of players. Those are all guys. So it's exciting. Right now in May, you're looking at it going, we'll see. I never like to get too, over the top excited or too over the top unexcited about it, but it'll be interesting. Our schedule, once again, is extremely difficult. So last year we played 3 of the 12 Frozen Four teams. And there's some teams I'm sure that can say that, but not a lot. Yeah. This year, once again, we have Alpena, we have Cranbrook, we have Livonia Stevenson, we have Calumet, we have Hancock, we have Granville, we have Northville. We're in the Trenton Showcase. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out there, but it is a vicious schedule. So hopefully I'm not getting into too much with us. We did the same thing last year. Didn't end the way we wanted it to with a tough loss to Jackson United. Good for them. They beat us. We outshot them. We put 60 shots on goal. Couldn't find a way. They won at the end of the year. But from the overall body of work, I think that schedule made us tougher, harder, and hopefully built it rolling into this year coming up. So scheduling is difficult. You got to, I can respect how Division I does it and how basketball does it, right? Where you got to find your spots, right? So, but I don't mind playing the top teams because, teams ask, and we consider that a kind of a pat on the back. The teams ask us to play now. We're not that far removed from 5-6 years ago. So we had to beg teams to come play us, right? Yeah. So, so we're getting there. We're getting there. So we'll see. Our group will be interesting, but it'll be exciting.
Joe, continued success, not only to you and to Cap City, but certainly continued success for this board. I think this board is making things happen. I can't tell you how happy I am to be talking to some of you coaches and a lot of those players that you talked on. The proven path is something that we're going to talk about all throughout the spring and into the summer and have a conversation with many coaches and some of those players that have been on that path. Continued success. You mentioned the hub for all things high school hockey. Make sure you head to the High School Hockey Hub. It is fantastic. The coaches run it. Everybody's rowing in the same direction, making sure there's good content up there. Stats that are updated on a regular basis. It's a beautiful thing. Coach, I say this all the time. If we can ever help you with anything, that we're just a phone call away. You do so much, and we appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me on. I can't thank you guys enough for helping us continue to be a key channel in terms of marketing our game and growing it. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll be talking, but enjoy your summer.
You do the same, my friend. Enjoy the track meet as well. Yeah. Coach Joe Ford kindly joining us here. Mike, it flies by when you're having fun.
Absolutely.
It's such a great product, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to be talking to not only coaches like Joe Ford, who, as I mentioned, great job at Cap City, but on the board as well. But some of the other coaches in the area and a lot of the players, as he mentioned, I have a list of players that I don't want to give away too many secrets, but we have some pretty cool guests coming up from all over, in particular, some college hockey guys, because I think it's important what he said. I'm not here to say that this is better than this or that is better than that, or to dog on anybody. I love promoting the game of hockey, period. Okay. But I think this is a pretty unique brand of hockey and a brand that deserves a heck of a lot of coverage. And that's what we're trying to do, Mike.
It's getting better and better every year. And getting the opportunity to have these coaches on here, I asked the question of, what's that next step that we need to take to be able to get our players promoted to the highest level, kind of like the Minnesota model does. And he said it was a tough question, but he answered the question perfectly by everything that he said. Everything that he said promoted the game. And that is what it has to be. We have to get it out there through the streaming services, through social media, to the ears and the eyes of these players that are deciding, should I play high school hockey? Why should I? And everything he said right there was a sales pitch to every kid that's going to see that.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get out of here, but listen, we're going to be back in a couple hours. We're also going to bring a guy, one of the legends in the coaching ranks of MHSA hockey, Coach Hunter, head coach, longtime assistant, and now really a grandpa. His nickname forever was grandpa. But he's really and truly a grandpa now, a beautiful baby girl born just a few days ago. So congratulations to Coach Hunter. I have to go check on the ribs and some wings, but we are going to be here all spring and well into the summer talking about the great game of hockey, especially at this level. Stick around on the What the Puck Network, though. We're going to be in my basement having a little barbecue and chat about hockey. For Mike Ivesel, I'm Sean Belizian. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to the Coaches Association for making something like this happen. Most importantly, thank you for joining us.
What the Puck, featuring Sean Belizian. Produced by Todd Losey and Blake Matrazek. Executive produced by Sean Belizian and Todd Losey. Theme song and incidental music by Elliot Middleton. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated Podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe to What the Puck on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.